Guys, Ash here coming at you today, and Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you all here. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. So Gear Raid 3, if you search into YouTube or Google for that matter, Watcher of Realms, one of the first kind of zone-specific or dungeon-specific content that people are searching for the most is Gear Raid 3, which, you know, it begs the question, do you guys struggle with Gear Raid 3, especially when compared to Gear Raid 1 and Gear Raid 2? Which do you find the easiest? Which do you find the most challenging? Furthermore, who are the heroes that you personally lean on the most in Gear Raid 3? I'm kind of showing you my team and strategy behind me a little bit. I already made a video highlighting the 3 teams that I'm currently using in Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3. Granted, there are legendary heroes out there. I promised in that video, and I still intend to deliver on that promise. I'll have more dedicated epic only guides for each of these stages, at least up to stage 19, and maybe even beyond. Who knows how far I can push things. So anyway, today I'm going to give you my top 10 choices for heroes that can help you in Gear Raid 3. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and start with one of my most important, I guess, the MVP, the carry of the team, if you saw in the background, and that is none other than Setrum. So Setrum, I mean, listen, I hate using the phrase, it's overused. Maybe I have been guilty at you know, a time or two, but he is like a cheat code in Gear Raid 3, dude. This dude, this big robotic, just freaking armada of nukage. This dude is a monster. He has the range to be able to hit the boss, hit, you know, more targets, but most importantly, just doing insane burst damage with his ultimate. Fortress Stance, you know, the overload sucks, but who cares? It's a small price to pay considering the damage and the range that he has. He's really, I think I have one maybe legendary. I'm curious, you guys too. How many legendaries do you have fully skilled up on your entire roster? Do you have any? I didn't have any for a while, but Setrum, I want to say he's very close. I think I only have one, maybe Setrum's getting close right now. I think I'm 1 or 2 skill crystals away, and I have to say, investing in his skills and really spending those hard to get skill crystals on Setrum, it has made a profound impact both in Guild Boss for me, because I run an Infernal team, as well as in Gear Raid 3. He's really becoming one of my favorite heroes inside the entire game, and rightfully so. Just so much damage. He is pretty pricey at 20 cost, but again, I really think that it's worth it with this dude. He's a real monster, and again, he's my MVP. He takes that kind of left, well, you saw where I deployed him in the background there, right? He just kind of has that big carry component for my team, at least, and I'm sure anybody who has their hands on this guy. So Setrum definitely comes in towards the top of my own personal list. Number 2 is going to be Aracha. So I do not have Aracha, but she is incredible. I mean, she is a lord, a piercer lord, so, you know, the synergy is going to be obvious. But the best thing about her when it comes to Gear Raid 3 is the range increase that she provides vis-a-vis her lord skill. We get the faction allies basic attributes as we would expect, and then faction allies attack ranges are increased for every 1 tile away from the target, increases their damage by 5%, up to a 50% damage increase. So listen, she's a pretty capable fighter in her own right, but here we're talking about this amazing lord skill. That extra damage, it's perfect for this map because we're inherently far away from our targets. And look at the piercer heroes that are going to benefit. We'll see a few of these, like 3 or 4, if not more, on our list to come, because they're all just studs in Gear Raid 3. I mean, you know what? Let's just go to champion number 3 right now on our list. It's Idril. She's also a piercer watcher, and Idril's an MVP. She's insanely good in so many different areas of this game. You guys already know, but man, she was built for Gear Raid 3 because of her ultimate. Now, she can just deal some nice damage, especially for an epic, you know, just bringing the damage and bringing the range to your team at a low cost of 11. I love those cheap marksmen personally, and a lot of them are pretty cheap, you know, 12 and below, and Idril definitely fits that category at 11. But her limitless shots, excuse me, is just it's so valuable. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys, odds are most of you already have her and have invested in her. She's so good, guys. She can hit anybody on the map, and she gets that if you have her with the Lord, she gets that 50% damage bonus most of the time as well. Moreover, Idril, if you can get her awakened, I know it takes a while to get these dupes, but eventually, hopefully you do. On A3, she's gonna be using Limitless Shops, recovers rage for allies with 5% of their rage caps. So she has some rage boosting on A3, and on A5, during that ultimate, the Limitless Shots, every kill extends the duration by 3 seconds. You guys can see right above my head. Oh man, she's nasty, right? The range, she can hit the entire map, help you out in those trouble areas. Idril's just a class act. Hey guys, we might as well stay here. Razik, you know what? I included Razik on my 6 heroes that I was wrong about video, and boy was I wrong. Razik is a beast. Like, maybe I'm too high, maybe some of you guys will disagree with me, and that's cool. We all have our favorites. But maybe it's one of those, you know, psychological effects too, where you just weren't, I didn't know what I was getting into on this dude. I know he was pricey, I know he had good range, and I was unsure about his damage. Well, first of all, when someone says 700% damage to all enemies in range on an ability, I mean, it's hard to underestimate that. That's a crazy amount of damage, right? This guy's really, really good. Like, I put him in top tier marksman category personally, right? I've really pulled a total 180 on this guy. Not that I was ever a hater, but when I first summoned him, I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of like, I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, but boy, was I wrong on this dude, man. My favorite thing about Razik in Gear Raid 3 specifically is he can just cover either side and just with ease evaporate, decimate all those mobs that spawn from the right or the left. He has the range and he has that insane damage as well. He's pretty cool in other areas too. He has the EXP obtained through battle is increased by 5%. So he's great for EXP, you know, over time. 5% might not sound like a lot, but it does add up the more and more you use him and the more you farm EXP raid, right? So great range, great burst damage, great AoE damage. What more do you want, man? Razik is very, very good, and he's a piercer as well, right? So next up, guys, is gonna be another piercer, is Thein. Thein, man, I've been singing his praises for a while, and I really need to get a guide out on this guy or a video just highlighting how awesome he is. Another dude who really impressed the hell out of me. I wasn't sure what to think ahead of time. You know, I'm starting to actually accumulate a decent roster of legendary heroes in this game, and I wasn't sure if it was still worth investing in Thein, and let me tell you, it was. Again, he's very cheap at 11 cost, which I love. He's got great damage, and he's got really good control, and he's an AoE marksman. So he's got 100% damage to one enemy after attacking multiple times. He hurls this large saber that does AoE damage upon hitting targets, and then he has the AoE on the ultimate as well. He throws that blade. It's really cool, the animations to watch this. Blade hurl in large saber can inflict slow on the passive. That's a 50% movement speed decrease, so it's great control that he's adding to the team as well. And there's all sorts of other nukers out there who get more damage against targets under slow, synergizing with different abilities, artifacts, etc. So the reason I love him so much, I mean, he's just, what's not to love, right? But he can cover, so Gear Raid 3, picture like stage 18, 19, 17, around that area, it becomes an issue targeting the right-hand side from the middle, right? You need to have a strategy on how you're going to tackle those mobs that spawn from the right. Theoin's great. You can just point him to the right, pair him with an inspiration hero such as a Dolores, and he can cover that right-hand zone if you time his ultimate with Dolores's inspiration ultimate, which is really, really handy. Just really good DPS, and I love that you can position him in the middle, face him right, and he can really lock that side down. Just great burst, or just great damage mixed with control in so many different areas of the game. I was really impressed with Theoin's damage. I was not expecting him to be as capable as he actually is. Guys, we're still here on Star Piercers. Are you kidding me? We have not left yet, and we're still going. Allora is a brand new Watcher and Piercer. She's really, really cool. She has a 12 cost. Her armor looks awesome. I really love the aesthetic on Allora. Again, she's pretty new to the game at the time of this recording. The reason that she's so valuable in Gear Raid 3, and it's going to be the same reason as another hero that we have on the list in just a moment, is her invisibility state. So when her ultimate is not activated, she's invisible. She's really got everything you want. She's got the range, she's got the damage, but most importantly, I love the invisibility because it allows us to put her on that right-hand pedestal. You know what? I keep talking about it. Let me just show you it really quickly in case you don't know what I'm talking about with the invisibility. I don't have her on the team, but spoiler alert, next on the list is going to be Hatsu, right? This pedestal right over here, right? So the mob that comes from the side is they're just going to kill most often the DPS that we put here, right? Unless they're invisible. If they're invisible over there on the side, we're going to have nothing to worry about. See this one right here, right? So we're invisible, we can't get attacked, but it hits really, really hard. So if we could get attacked right now, we would lose, okay? But the invisibility allows us to stay alive. Well, that's just one of the reasons why she's so incredibly good. Now, I also wanted to point out really quickly what I was talking about with Thein, and Maul has the same thing. You can position him like over here or over here, right? And you can time that ultimate and you can kill those mobs that we just killed with Hatsu. We can kill those mobs with the inspiration and enough DPS coming from these heroes. That's what I was trying to refer to earlier when we were talking about Thein. So just wanted to kind of demonstrate so you guys knew what I was talking about if you're unfamiliar or you're not this, far along on the gear raid. So Hatsu is Nightmare. We got to change factions just for a moment here, guys. Like I said, insane burst damage with that ultimate, one of the most powerful ultimates out there in Ghastly Burst, but that invisibility is really, really handy too. She does lack a little bit of range compared to the other heroes that we've spoken about, but she definitely makes up for it in terms of damage and invisibility and how that can function to really help you through some of the more challenging strategic aspects of Gear Raid 3. So we have 3 heroes left, guys, and yeah, that's right, we're back at the Star Piercers. We're back again. We're back for some more. We're not done yet. So this is a tough one, right? Honestly, just looking here, we have probably 4 others who could be on the list. I want to give a shout out to Brienne. I think that she's underrated, meaning that because she's somewhat accessible, one of the 4 marksmen you can get your hands on early. I think people, really do underrate her. I just personally like Thein just slightly better. Same thing goes with Calypso and with Nyx. They're both A+ tier. I just like some of the others on the list just a little bit more, but they're amazing, right? You can even get utility out of Hex as well. So, but I have Lunaria on the list, guys. We talked already about the other Lord of Star Piercers, Aracha. If you don't have Aracha, you can still get tremendous value out of Lunaria.
Don't use me as another excuse for why you can't make it.
So Lunaria is an epic lord. I decided to put her over all the aforementioned heroes that I just gave honorable mentions to, just because of how valuable, again, this Lord skill is. Getting your attack ranges to be increased, plus the attributes. I mean, heck, we just talked about 6 or 7 or 8 heroes in this faction. It speaks to how much utility we can get out of the Piercing Vision Lord skill. And she's a pretty good marksman in her own right as well, right? She conveys the power of the Dark Moon, shooting 3 Dark Moon arrows to a single target rapidly, restores an extra 60 rage if the target is killed. That deals 175% magic damage to enemies. Airborne units take more damage. Obviously, everything is airborne in this specific map. All right, guys, let's go to, and you know what? Heck, even Apsan is very good. Another honorable mention there. I love Apsan, by the way. I've been having so much fun with this dude since I pulled him. But Silas, right? I mean, Silas has to be on the list. I think Silas would be on a top, if I made a top 10 hero list in so many different areas of the game, Silas would be there. He's my most wanted champion, the best single target damage dealer inside the entire game, right? He's got Shadow Cloak. He's got a great ultimate. He's got soul sniping, right? 140%. damage that ignores 50% of their defense. He's just incredible. He only costs 12. He's got the range. He's got everything, man. So, you know, he can serve multiple roles on basically every team. He can be a boss killer. He can cover the wings as well. So Silas definitely makes the list, but let's be real, kind of like Setram and Hatsu, if you have Silas, odds are you don't need me to tell you to use him in Gear Raid 3. You're already using him, right? So we have one more, guys, one more. So who have I not mentioned who could be on our list? I give so many honorable mentions. Who do you guys think it is? Well, we have to go over to the North Throne, guys. It's not Vienna. Another shout out there. Comet and Vienna for mages can shine in Gear Raid 3 as well. And I feel like I probably should have mentioned this at the top of the video, but you know, a Vortex, an Eloin, a Hollow, like support type heroes. I was thinking more about like the range targets and the air targeting targets, and you know, I guess the key roles from a DPS, a damage and strategic element that you want on your team. But I probably should say that Dolores and Hollow, specifically in Eloin, Vortex, like the healing and support, they can fit in any map, right? So gonna be Maul, guys. If you know anything about me, you know how much I unbelievably love Maul. I lean so heavily on this guy, not just in Gear Raid 3, but also Gear Raid 1, also many different areas. And again, I have a lot of these legendaries now on my roster, but I'm still going back to Maul. Maul gets a lot better the more that you awaken him as well. The reason I mention this is because obviously epics, you know, you can say the same about legendaries in terms of awakening, but epic's a little bit easier, especially in a long-term goal. But all the way at A5, you even reduce his cost by 5, which is, you know, I mean, that's really, really valuable. Salt erosion will inflict a slow by 75%. So my man's got a 75% slow when you get him to A3. And even at A1, he starts dealing freeze with Abyssal Surge. The reason I love him so much is kind of like Razik, who we spoke about earlier. He can play any 3 position, right? And I want to say there's not that many heroes in the game who can do that in Gear Raid 3. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you can put him on the left to take care of those ads, those mobs. You can put him on the right to take care of those ads and mobs as well. Or you can position him in the middle like we spoke about with Thein earlier. And you can face him to the right and synergize his timing with an inspiration like a Dolores, and he can cover the right-hand lane from the center as well to protect him on that right platform, because obviously he doesn't have invisibility or anything like that. But yeah, man, Maul just has it. He's got the CC, he's got the insane damage, 750% AoE damage with knockback, and again, with the awakenings, you add all that control to the mix. He is a top-tier epic hero in the game, better than a lot of legendaries, and he's one of my favorite marksmen in the game. So yeah, he absolutely belongs on this list as well. Also, last question for you. Do you want me to do another video like this for Gear Raid 1 and Gear Raid 2, specifically talking about not just the heroes, about how you can use them in those specific stages in levels? Who did I not mention at all, even an honorable mention, that you love using in Gear Raid 3? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.